Hello everyone. Today we are starting a new series, that is important terms of accounting. This topic is related to class 11th. Today in this video we'll discuss assets and its types. Alright. So according to the book's definition as given here, economic resources of the entity which gives benefit in future are known as assets. So any resources of the entity which gives you benefit in the future is assets according to them. But we'll not go in the bookish definition. We'll try to understand it with a much simpler definition, right? So according to that definition, cash, stock, property, etc., which is owned by the business in its name are known as assets. So in this definition, it simply says anything which is owned by the business in its name is known as assets. Okay, sir. This is much simpler and clearer definition, I guess. Here in this definition, we are focusing more on name because there is a concept known as separate legal entity. Here now, business is treated as an artificial person from businessman, right? Businessman is different and business is different. Now all the transactions here will be done in the name of business. Say suppose Aman is running a business known as Aman Enterprises, right? So all those transactions, bills of purchase, sales will be done in the name of Aman Enterprises, right? So that's why we have focused more on the name part, that all the assets should be owned by the business in its name. So now we'll take an example. We'll take an example of general store, that what all things are present in general store, right? So in general store, as we enter, we see goods kept on the racks or shelves. Those shelves are known as furniture, right? Those shelves are known as furniture. We can see a computer where billing has been done. We can see AC. We can see cash counter where cash is kept, right? So basically all these things we see in a general store. So why you're telling this? Because these are the properties which the businessman has created or purchased in its name, or and in the building in which that store is there, if it is owned by the business, it is also an asset. So all these things are assets for business, right? So sir, does these assets have any types? Yes, these assets do have types, that are basically two types known as non-current and current. So non-current is also known as by a name fixed assets, right? So what are the definition of these assets? It's very simple, and these are layman definitions. You can easily learn it while understanding, right? So non-current are those assets beta which are there with business for a longer period of time. Longer period. So sir, how much this period consists of? 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, or 6 years. So it is said that more than 1 year. So any assets which is there with business for more than 1 year is known as fixed assets. So now we'll move on to current assets. So what are current assets, sir? Which are there with business for a shorter period of time. Shorter period is less than 1 year. So any asset which are there with business for less than 1 year is known as current asset. Now we'll go back to our example of general store and we'll try to categorize these items whether they are fixed or current assets, right? So goods, also known as stock. Stock means the goods which are purchased for resale purpose are known as stock, right? So sale and purchase of goods happens every day, so it is a current assets. Within a year, transactions are taking place in this goods, right? Furniture a businessman does not change every year, so it stays with the business for a longer period. That's why it is a fixed assets for business, right? Same way, computer, a businessman does not change its computer every year, so it is also a fixed asset for business. AC is again an example of fixed assets. Cash it comes daily and it goes also. So it is a current asset for business. Building. Building is also an example of fixed asset as it stays with business for a longer period. So after this, does any of these assets, current or fixed, has any types? So the answer is yes. Fixed assets have two types, that are tangible and intangible. So how does we differentiate between the two? Tangible assets are those assets which can be seen, touched, or felt, right? Which can be seen, touched, or felt. So intangible assets are just opposites of these, which cannot be seen, touched, or felt. So these are a different category. People often get confused, or children often get confused, that are there any assets which cannot be seen? So we'll see to it. Okay. So we'll go back to tangible assets. So tangible assets are those assets beta which can be seen, touched, or felt. Example of these can be such as furniture. Furniture can be seen, touched, and felt, and we know it is a fixed assets. Building. Building can also be seen, touched, and felt, etc. Right? Don't include current asset in these. Now we'll come back to intangible assets. Intangible assets were assets which cannot be seen, touched, or felt. So, sir, example of these is beta goodwill, copyright, trademark are some of the examples of intangible assets. And we'll discuss these terms a separate accounting term in the next video, and we'll also discuss a third type of asset. So you earlier you said that there were only two. Yeah, the related ones are two, and the third type in these is fictitious asset beta. That also we'll discuss in the next part. So this is all for this video. I hope you must have understood what are assets and its types, and now you will be able to recognize assets and which type do they belong to. If you find this video helpful, do like, share, and subscribe. I'll be coming with more such concepts regularly. Thank you.